I decided to do something crazy. This is Chris here at White Widow Sports, and I'm going to go through every single NCAA school and pick the best or most famous athlete from it. That's right, I have a list of 1,110 schools across Divisions 1, 2, and 3, and maybe, just maybe by the year 2030, I will have finished them all. Some schools are going to be heavily debatable, with many Hall of Famers across many sports, and some are going to be a struggle to come up with even one name. But I think it will be a fun challenge, and I hope you guys will join me. For bigger schools, I've decided to change the format a little and pick the best overall athlete, the most notable athlete, and the best or most notable women's athlete. Sometimes the most notable and best overall could be the same person, so this won't always be three people. The University of Alabama is located in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and was founded in 1820. And look, I know I'm going to say a lot of things that are like, no shit, everybody knows that, but I'm trying to follow a format here with the big schools and small schools and have consistency whether someone knows everything about one place or nothing at all. As most know, Alabama is historically really good at football with an undetermined number of national championships. They claim 18, but take those claims on a year-to-year basis. One of those claims, for example, they finished ranked 20th in the country and 3rd in the SEC. Regardless of gray areas, they've still won a lot of legitimate championships, especially in the past 20 years, and 28 SEC titles as well. Outside of football, the Crimson Tide have won 2 national championships in men's golf in 2013 and 2014. They also won 6 in women's gymnastics in 1988, 1991, 1996, 2002, 2011, and 2012. 1 in softball in 2012, and 1 in women's golf in 2012 as well. Let's get some honorable mentions in first. For previous schools, especially the smallest ones, I listed every one of note. We simply can't do that here because the list is so long. So narrowing down had to be done, obviously, but the list is still very long, and I'll try to go quickly. Bear with me here. Dave Magadan is a former baseball player and coach. At Alabama in 1983, he hit .525 and led the entire NCAA, set an SEC record, and is still the 5th best in NCAA history. He went on to play with the Mets, Marlins, Mariners, Astros, Cubs, A's, and Padres in his 16-year playing career. He then coached for the Padres, Red Sox, Rangers, Diamondbacks, and Rockies. He won a World Series in his time in Boston. Marty Lyons is a former defensive lineman who played for Alabama from 1975 to 1978. In that time, he was named Consensus All-American and SEC Defensive Player of the Year during the 1978 National Championship season. He had 202 career tackles and went on to be selected 14th overall in the 1979 NFL Draft. He spent his entire career with the New York Jets, where he had 29 sacks, 8 fumble recoveries, and 2 safeties. He was named NFL Man of the Year in 1984 and is in the New York Jets Ring of Honor. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2011. Glenn Mills won the 200-meter breaststroke with Alabama and later set Masters world records in both the 100-meter and 200-meter breaststroke events. He qualified for the 1980 Olympic team, but was denied a chance at anything after President Jimmy Carter led a boycott of the Games after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in late 1979. He is now the founder and CEO of GoSwim.tv. Andre Houston was a versatile athlete for the Tide. She won 2 individual gymnastics championships and led the team to a national championship in 2002. In her 5th year at Alabama, she went over to the track and broke the school record in the pole vault. After graduation, she went on to the USA Olympic trials but did not make the team. Devontae Smith is a current NFL wide receiver who you are all probably familiar with. In 2020, he became the 4th wide receiver to win the Heisman Trophy and the first since Desmond Howard in 1991. In that season, he had 117 catches for 1,856 yards and 23 touchdowns. Though it hasn't been that long since he was there, he still holds the school record for career catches, single game catches, career receiving yards, single season receiving yards, single game receiving yards, career receiving touchdowns, single season touchdowns, and single game touchdowns. He also holds the SEC record for single season receiving yards, career receiving yards, single season touchdowns, and career receiving touchdowns. In addition to the Heisman, he won a number of other awards I'll just put on the screen now. Smith was selected 10th overall in the 2021 NFL Draft, where he is already a one-time Super Bowl champion with the Eagles. Harry Gilmer was a halfback and quarterback for Alabama from 1944 to 1947. He was named SEC Player of the Year in 1945, where he led the nation in passing touchdowns and total offense. He was also a first, second, and third team All-American and 4-time SEC All-Conference selection. He went first overall in the 1948 NFL Draft and played for both the Redskins and Lions, where he was a 2-time Pro Bowler. He is in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame and was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1993. Forrest Gump was a kick returner and All-American for Alabama in 1963 after overcoming leg development troubles as a young kid. He went on to serve his country in the Vietnam War, where he received the Medal of Honor for his heroism in battle. He then made a fortune when he founded Bubba Gump Shrimping Company after fulfilling a promise to his best friend from the service who died in combat. He also dabbled in ping pong glory, inspired the lyrics for John Lennon's Imagine, and played a part in the Watergate scandal, among other bizarre historical events. After gaining lots of wealth and fame, his childhood crush Jenny returned from a life of partying and prostitution and ignoring Forrest for years to finally live the good life like some kind of leech. Unfortunately, she contracted AIDS due to that lifestyle, but eventually bangs Forrest anyway and leaves him again. Gump then runs across the damn country in sadness. 3 years later, Jenny reveals that Forrest has a son he never knew about. So, she decides to finally marry the man and then dies, leaving him as a single father to a child he just recently discovered. This would be my easy pick, if he was real. Kim Jacob is a former gymnast who won 11 All-American honors and led Alabama to the 2011 and 2012 national championships. Cornelius Bennett is a former linebacker who played for Alabama from 1983 to 1986. He is one of only 2 three-time All-Americans in Alabama history, and also won the Lombardi Trophy and SEC Player of the Year in 1986. He was drafted 2nd overall in the 1987 NFL Draft and spent time with the Colts, Bills, and Falcons. He was named to the Pro Bowl 5 times, named to the NFL's 1990s All-Decade Team, and the Bills' 50th Anniversary Team. He was also inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2005. Dana Duckworth is a former gymnast who was a 4-time All-American from 1990 to 1993. She was also a 2-time balance beam individual national champion in 1992 and 1993, and part of the Tide's team national championship in 1991. She also led the team to 3 more national titles as assistant coach from 2000 to 2014. Johnny Mack Brown was a halfback for Alabama in 1924 and 1925, where he helped lead the team to a Rose Bowl win, the first ever team from the South to do so, and was named MVP of that game. John Hanna is a former football guard who played for Alabama from 1970 to 1972, where he was 2-time first-team All-American and 2-time first-team All-SEC. He was then drafted 4th overall in the 1973 NFL Draft, where he spent his entire career with the New England Patriots. His awards in the pros include far too many to name off, but it's super impressive and they should be on the screen now. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1991 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1999. Ozzie Newsome is a former tight end who played for the Tide from 1974 to 1977, where he was a 1-time Consensus All-American and 2-time First-Team All-SEC. He was selected 23 overall in the 1978 NFL Draft and spent his entire career with the Browns. He tallied 662 catches for 7,980 yards and 47 touchdowns, and was named 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, and is named to the 1980s NFL All-Decade Team and is in the Cleveland Browns Ring of Honor. He was inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1999 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1994. He is currently the Executive Vice President of Player Personnel for the Baltimore Ravens. Nisa Johnson is a former basketball player who is a 1-time First-Team All-American and a 3-time SEC First-Team selection. She was also the SEC Freshman of the Year in 1992. In 1994, she helped lead Alabama to the Final Four. She surprisingly went undrafted, but eventually played 2 seasons in the WNBA. Mark Ingram played running back for the Tide from 2008 to 2010, where he became the school's first ever Heisman winner, despite rushing for 213 yards less and 11 touchdowns less than the runner-up Toby Gerhart, who played the same position and also won the award for best running back that season. Anyways, he was a first-team All-American that season, along with a few conference honors, and was drafted 28th overall in the 2011 NFL Draft. He spent time with the Saints, Ravens, and Texans, where he was a 3-time Pro Bowler and racked up 8,111 rushing yards and 65 touchdowns in his career. Jerry Pate is a former golfer who, after playing for Alabama, went on to have 8 PGA Tour wins, came in 3rd in the Masters in 1982, 2nd in the PGA Tour Championship in 1978, and won the U.S. Open in 1976. Lily Leatherwood is a former track athlete who won indoor national titles in the 400-meter at the 1985 and 1986 meets, breaking the indoor record in the latter. She went on to represent Team USA in the Olympics twice, where she won gold in 1984 and silver in 1988 as part of the 4x400-meter relay. Leroy Jordan, probably my favorite former Alabama player because of his pro career, played linebacker for the Tide from 1960 to 1962, where he was a one-time first-team All-American and SEC. He was selected 6th overall in the 1963 NFL Draft and spent his entire career with the Dallas Cowboys. Over his 14-year career, he was a 5-time Pro Bowler and was one of the first superstars in franchise history and helped the Cowboys win their first ever Super Bowl for their 1971 season. He is in the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor and was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1983. Dominique Canty is a former basketball player with Alabama from 1995 to 1999 and was a one-time first-team All-American and a 3-time first-team All-SEC selection. When she graduated, she was Alabama's all-time leading scorer, male or female. She was taken 29th overall in the 1999 WNBA draft and spent time with the Detroit Shock, Houston Comets, Chicago Sky, and Washington Mystics. Derek Thomas was a linebacker with Alabama from 1985 to 1988, where he won the Butkus Award, was first-team All-American and SEC, and was SEC Male Athlete of the Year in 1989. He was selected 4th overall in the 1989 NFL Draft and spent his entire career with the Chiefs. His pro awards are too long to list, so I'll put them on the screen now. He holds the NFL record for most sacks in a game with 7 and had 126.5 of them in his career and is still the Chiefs' all-time leader in sacks, safeties, forced fumbles, and fumble recoveries. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2009 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 2014. John Olson is a former swimmer who went on to win 4 gold medals in the Olympics and a total of 27 medals in major international competition, competing mostly in the 4x100 meter freestyle relay. Joe Sewell was a baseball infielder and football player at Alabama from 1917 to 1919, where he led the baseball team to 4 conference titles. He played pro ball with the Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees, where he was a 2-time World Series champion, once with each team. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1977. Don Hutson was a football player who played for the Tide from 1932 to 1934, where he was an All-American and contributed heavily to the team's early 30s success. He is probably better known as one of the NFL's first mainstream superstars, playing his entire career with the Green Bay Packers. When I say superstar, I mean it. His accolades will be on the screen now, as listing them all verbally would take a long time. When you look at that for a moment, let's just summarize it by saying the 3-time NFL champion is one of the best Packers of all time, and is one of the best early NFL players of all time, and was the first in franchise history to have his number retired. He has a street named after him in Green Bay, and the Packers' indoor practice facility is named the Don Hutson Center. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1963 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1951, the inaugural class for both of those. I could honestly make an entire video on him, and I'll understand if you think he should be the pick for most notable in Alabama history, but I'll defend my choice when we get there soon. Justin Thomas is a current golfer and at Alabama placed first 6 times and in 2012 won the Haskins and Jack Nicklaus Award as the best college golfer and helped the team win the 2013 national championship. As a pro, he has won the PGA Championship twice in 2017 and 2022. Calvin Smith is a former track sprinter. In college, he set the 100-meter world record in 1983. In the 1984 Olympics, he won a gold medal as part of the 4x100-meter relay team and a bronze medal in 1988 in the 100-meter solo. Smith broke a world record 4 times in his career, but have all since been broken. Robert Horry is a former basketball player who played for Alabama from 1988 to 1992, where he helped lead the team to 3 SEC titles and reached the Sweet 16 twice as an All-SEC defensive team selection. He was selected 11th overall in the 1992 NBA draft and played for the Rockets, Suns, Lakers, and Spurs. He won 7 NBA championships in his career, multiple with each team except the Suns. Okay, that was a lot more than I meant to list, but hey, there's a lot of talent here, unlike that Agnes Scott video that all 17 of you have watched. I even left out several names, especially if they were better known as a coach. Yeah, I know you're already about to complain about him in the comments. So, now that we have those out of the way, here's the best overall athlete, most notable athlete, and female best athlete. And again, this is all just my opinion, so let's hear what I missed in the comments or your take on the matter. I said I'd defend my most notable pick earlier, so here it is. Bart Starr. While not being In the College Football Hall of Fame, like Hudson, shines a brighter light on the program as a former quarterback and pioneer into the Super Bowl era. But let's start from the beginning. Starr began his sophomore season as the starting quarterback, safety, and punter, and helped the team to a 6-2 record. In the summer of 1954, he suffered a severe back injury during a hazing incident that essentially ended his Alabama career. So he could have easily been more in college, we'll just never know. Starr was selected in the 17th round of the 1956 NFL Draft. Starr took over the starting quarterback role later that season and never looked back. He went on to lead the team to the 1961, 62, and 65 NFL championships. Where he becomes most notable in my eyes is leading the Packers to the first 2 Super Bowls, winning both, and being named MVP of both in 1966 and 1967. In his career, he was named a Pro Bowler 4 times and even won the NFL MVP in 1966. He threw for 24,718 yards and 152 touchdowns before retiring after the 1971 season. By 1975, he was the Packers' head coach and held that job until 1983. At the same time, he was also the Packers' general manager from 1975 to 1980. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1977 and passed away in 2019 at the age of 85. For Best Female Athlete, I have Kelly Crutchman. She is a former softball outfielder who played for Alabama from 1998 to 2001. In her Crimson Tide career, she was the first 4-time All-American in program history. In 2000, she led Alabama to its first Women's College World Series. She still holds Tide career records for hits, doubles, triples, and runs, along with the single-season record for home runs with 25. To this day, she still ranks 3rd in career runs, 3rd in total bases, and 6th in hits for the entire nation. She went on to play professional softball with 6 teams, only having just retired in 2020. She is currently the head coach for the Volts of the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, which is a very new league, having just finished its first season and is only made up of 4 teams. For the best overall athlete, and maybe there's some recency bias, but I think it has to be Derrick Henry. While he was more of a role player in 2013, he still put up 382 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 2014, he would also split time but be more heavily featured with 990 yards and 11 touchdowns. In 2015, he would explode as the feature back with 2,219 yards and 28 touchdowns and won the Heisman, along with all the other major awards and All-American and conference honors, leading Alabama to the national championship. He still holds the SEC record for rushing yards in a season and rushing touchdowns in a season. He was taken in the 2nd round of the 2016 NFL Draft with the 45th overall pick. He spent 8 seasons in Tennessee with the Titans, rushing for 9,502 yards and 90 touchdowns. With the Titans, he went over the 1,000-yard mark 4 times and over 2,000 once. After heading to Baltimore in the 2024 season at the age of 30, he rushed for 1,921 yards and 16 touchdowns. He became the first running back in NFL history with 1,500-plus rushing yards and 15-plus rushing touchdowns in 3 different seasons. As of this recording, he has been a 5-time Pro Bowler, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, along with various other awards and honors I'll put on the screen now. As always, thanks for watching. Please let me know in the comments if I missed someone completely obvious or someone you disagree or do agree with. Please like, share, and subscribe. This has been Chris with White Widow Sports, and I will see you next time.